Hi, Antondi. This is a games. Looks good, doesn't it? I think today, unless it's, I'm gonna look at it briefly at least. I was thinking of adding depth. Yeah. Not even in my like to-do list, is it? A bit further down. Well, actually, I should take some stuff off. Emitting shells and stuff. Hello, Huffman. Alright, I'm gonna work on this. Thought, I mean, this is my old note. Sort actors by Y when drawing, so one at back is further away. Okay, Mel. You wanna see my hard work I did the other day? I did like a lot off stream. I did like a lot of mining off stream. Like a lot. Hey Donut. I just started. But yeah, the other day off stream, I think I had like 2 or 3 days off or something. I did a lot of work that required me to like sit and think, basically, which I think might have been a bit annoying to watch because I wouldn't have been able to do it with distractions. This is the main thing. We have this file now called particles.json, where we have our emitter instructions and our particles. Basically, most of the work was getting this working. And if you remember at the end of last stream, maybe, I just made a small adjustment to some particles to get something working, and it buggered them heavily. So I also had to, like, fix things to work properly. That's what all this shit is. And the long and short of it is, like, the particles work now, as usual. In fact, they might look a little different from when you were last here. I think the bullet casings is new to you, maybe? Like, I was making these on the stream, but I basically did this off stream as well. They're nice. Yeah, I think they still had a black border when we were last streaming, didn't they? And have a look at this. This looks a little different too. What do you think? I also built with rel with debinfo, which I do need to enable asserts, but you can see with the optimizations turned on, it runs so much nicer now. So I'm gonna click on assertions. I had a colleague tell me about some build configuration he was using, I think with O1G or O1, I don't know them off the top of my head. But I forgot to write down his message, and I'm not about to open my work laptop to read my team's message, but yeah. It looks cool, doesn't it? And you'll see every now and then the flamethrower will drop 1 canister instead of every single shot fired. So that's just simply on a timer. Most of the weapons have a timer of 0, so it does a casing every shot. But the flamethrower is like, you know, every now and then it'll emit one. Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? You see the shotgun going as well. And I don't know, maybe the particles themselves actually look different to you. They may not. I basically rewrote like a lot of them. Yeah. Oh, also added this button. Do you see this? Reload assets. If you click this, it reloads all the JSONs. So I can go in here for the flamethrower, make it so it produces 1 particle, hit reload, or whatever, and immediately see that change. and then, you know, I can make it shoot 1,000 or something. Hit reload. Look at that. Actually funny seeing them work in 1,000. You can kind of see that square spawning algorithm working. Top-down sort of physics. I'm not done with the cartridges, I just decided to stop, if that makes sense. I have plans when I want to spend more time on it to just do like a basic bounce using one of those interpolation algorithms that you guys were showing me. One of those splines, whatever. I've spent too long polishing particles. They're in a good enough space for now, so I'm just gonna leave them. And for now, these work. Obviously, you can see a problem, right? They go through walls, and also sometimes they're rendered on top of you. So I did periodically, just for a second, turn on. Hello TR video. I did turn on collision for them for just a moment, and while it did work, having the bullet casings have collision, it worked well if you were standing away from a wall. If you were standing in like here, it would sometimes spawn the casing inside the wall and it would send it flinging. So I'd have to, if I wanted physics on these casings, so if I wanted collision, I'd have to think carefully about the spawning algorithm for them, and like, you know, if there's a wall nearby, move it or delete it or something. I don't know. And I don't want to do that work right now. That is polish. It's more important that you can actually shoot through walls, which we should also fix fairly soon. Shouldn't be too hard. You just do a collision check from the end of the gun towards you, and if there's a wall in the way, spawn the bullet in the wall or something. I don't know. Not a big deal. But as I said, I wanted to maybe at least consider doing depth today. Because then what I was going to do is make it so this air block is above everything, maybe? At least see how that looks. And the walls, maybe have the walls above everything, because this sort of top-down POV, I think it's okay if the walls are over you. And it would make it then seem at least like the bullets are going under something, you know? So it wouldn't look like this. They would be underneath it. So that would be interesting. Oh yeah, there's all sorts of ways to do it, don't I? I actually used to do that sort of fake Z in Game Maker all the time. I don't care. There'll be some way I'll do it. It may indeed be to have some sort of fake height, like the Binding of Isaac has on its tiers. I could use a Z, which is there. Z already exists. Make great use of it so far. May come into play today, we'll see. There's a lot, and I'm just stopping for now. I think whenever I come to doing that, I'll also add shadows. Shadows don't exist yet, and I at very least want to have a basic little black circle being drawn at your feet. If I have shadows around the bullet casings, then by separating the shadow from the bullet, it will make it more obvious that it's bouncing. By not bouncing the shadow. So that's for another time. First thing I'm going to do... I'm also mighty tired. I got my teeth cleaned, by the way. You don't know if you can see. I went to the dentist. They got all the black and calculus and stuff taken off. So they are shiny as hell. Don't know how well you can see my teeth normally, but like I keep poking the back of my teeth with my tongue. They are like... They're nice now. You can like feel the back of every tooth. It's cool. Don't know how often you guys normally get it done. I've not been a good adult, I will say. And I have paid for it on my insurance after all, so I should have gone more often. Oh well. You only look at my teeth. Thanks. All right. Let's see. Debug. Let's see. Oh, I think you actually sent me the command. Why the colors strings? I'll show you in a moment. Let me just get this working first. Some things are a little... You sent an example of how to enable certs, right? You might want to remove... Hang on. If it defines ndebug like release mode, all the assert checks will be removed. I don't see it. If you want those back, you might have to remove it. Yeah, well, I mean, it's not there, so... I guess I could check if asserts are working. You might... I mean, I can just check if asserts are working pretty easy, right? Oh. That's one way to do it, right? Is it weird you don't get plaque? Yes. It's a natural phenomenon. Okay, it's not... It clearly didn't assert. Maybe I need to explicitly turn it on. Yeah, like the assert just got skipped. Hang on. Well, it looks like ndebug is set, so maybe I can undef it. Yeah. How can I do that? Let me have a look. You can just set variables in CMake, can't you? I can just be like, I don't know how you write it. It obviously wouldn't be in here. It'll be in here somewhere. Let me Google it. Disable ndebug rel with dev info CMake. Why does it add OB1 instead of OB2? You make presets. Disable rel with dev info. What does that mean? Ndebug. How do I disable? So it looks like it's -dnd debug to turn it on. Which one am I using? This one. That's to turn it on, but I would like to turn it off. How do you do that? W no? Try adding DCMake C++ flags rel with dev info, blah blah blah. Okay, hang on, let's have a look. The other thing was talking about like settings. It's usually invisible, only becomes visible weird later on. Like this thing. Oh, okay, there's no autocomplete. This stuff is such a mystery to me. But okay. This is presumably user settings though, right? Not, or is this workspace? I guess maybe this is workspace. You do clean your teeth with high fluoride toothpaste and an alcoholic mouthwash. I think you can't prevent the buildup of plaque in your mouth completely unless you just... I think even if you're dead, you'd probably still produce. I don't know. I think, isn't it just it's just bacteria living in your mouth that like die and harden or something, right? What is it? I don't remember. You can have more or less of it. Like if you eat certain things or don't clean your teeth properly, you'll get more of it. But I missed it. You have to reconfigure. Did I not just reconfigure? Hang on a moment. I thought I did. Pass our, yeah. This thing. Equals blah blah blah, like you said. Okay. Yeah, you can look at my ceiling. That should work. Weird that saving this one doesn't do a CMake reconfigure. I guess it's not weird. This isn't a CMake file. Who's DMing me? Oh, it's the boys. Everyone... Oh. That's yikes. Alright, that looks like it's built at least. Might work just an equals. Yeah, I mean, it probably reads this as null pointer or blank or something, right? Good thing you got back here if your PC got nuked. You were trying to get back into your account for days now. Oh, sure. It still doesn't seem to be... I am using rel with debinfo, right? Where's my CMake configure? Rel with debinfo. Let me Google this command. Only Chinese things are showing up when I Google this. We can try it with just an equals if you want. I don't know if it'll work. Oh, I probably need to build again, don't I? I think I... Oh wait, it didn't rebuild, did it? Okay, great. It's not crashing. Oh god, it's opened in its own browser. I wish OBS would stop opening stuff in its own browser. Value used to initialize the CMake lang flags config cache entry the first time the build tree is configured. Oh, do I need to do a clean rebuild maybe? Hang on. Let's try clean rebuilds. Maybe, I think this settings JSON stuff is only read the first time. Maybe? The command line arguments should override the cache. Yeah, because we're basically saying no flags, which apparently it was building some in for us. And then, where's my CMake? And then we're adding in these other ones here. O2, ZI. They're read every time you configure. Well, let's see if a clean reconfigure is helping. It only takes a moment. I could always just go back to debug if I'm not using the flamethrower for a bit, but I particularly like how the game runs properly, and then I stop getting questions from people about their backseating on how they think the particles could work better without really understanding how it works. I also made the explosions way bigger. I thought this looks better. So if you didn't notice anything going on, it's because this is working the way it should. I think before the explosions were way too small. I just think this looks better. How long have you been? That's a really good question. Alright, this clearly didn't fix it. Coding for. Try removing the rel with debinfo part. Oh, from settings. Just this. Cool. I'll have to make sure to remove this if I ever want to ship it, I guess. Yeah. Oh, I just did a clean rebuild. Oh, whatever. 40 seconds. I've been programming for 20 years, Electro XP8BW. How about you? Oh, hang on. Is that what I have in here? That's weird. Why is it doing the rewinding O2 with 0D? That's weird. Why is it doing that? I'm using MSVC, right? Pretty sure. Type DF0. Maybe it has to be set command for the teammate file stuff gets added into it. Oh, just set in here. Yeah, I can't, I'll be honest, I don't touch this file that often. We can just remove it from here. Well, I can, you know, I can quickly hit F5, whatever, but yeah. We can just do it in here then. Remind me. Is it just that? I guess it'll tell me. Hello, DF. 0_. How are you? It's not working. Maybe setting it after? I don't really see the... Well, that would make a difference, but... Hey. Yeah, when I Google for this exact command, it comes up with some Chinese forum. I haven't, DF0. I'm not pulling out my work laptop, but he did give me an example of how to do it. Make, disable, and debug in rel with dev info. Hey. Oh, undebug. What is this? This is gzcmake. Undebug. Undefined. Use debug and enable optimizations on it. I could. No. Yeah. I think that is basically what I want, right? Yeah, I mean, this forum I've just found by Gaze Bosim is talking about this. Rel with deb info is a meaning which users are familiar with, which is basically release builds with debug symbols, which isn't exactly true because release uses O3 and rel uses O2, but the idea is that in rel with deb info builds, ndebug is defined, so no asserts are enabled. Yeah, let's just use debug. Change this to OT. OT? I need someone to sit down and explain to me all these levels. I've like read them before and I always forget them. Optimize for time. Oh, time or size. Okay. Yeah, I guess we don't care about size. This is a host application. Alright. You ready to see how horribly long the build takes on debug? Wow. Darn these compiled languages. They're taking so many seconds. I'm gonna take a nap. Good night, buddy. Enjoy the coding and have some cheese. I do have cheese I need to eat, but I don't know if I want a poorly tummy. While we're at it, Donut, do you know any way I can force it to compile on either a different thread or something? Hey, now it's using a bot. Great. Because whenever I'm streaming and I build, it like hitches the stream for a second. So if there was a way to make it chill the fuck out, that would be nice. Use fewer threads? Whatever the behavior is, I don't know. Okay, this does not fucking work. This optimized for time thing is not doing the job we need it to. This is 6 FPS. Did I not rebuild or something? Let's just double check. I can get rid of this as well. You're inclined to find Odin. It seems like it fixes everything wrong with it. Does it go back and also change every single C and C++ project to Odin? How does it work? Is it like Kotlin, where it's built from Java, so it's kind of backwards compatible, or what? I think it's worth trying out the... Okay, this isn't working. What about O2? Doesn't that match what I had on here for Robert Info? Oh. Overriding OD with O2. RTC1 and O2 are incompatible. Why am I saying RTC1? I do kind of need asserts, I'm gonna be real. O3, maybe? Telling me that O2 is ignoring it. I don't think it has O3. This stuff's such a mystery to me. So wait, if... What's the optimization then that make file work? Because RebeldDevInfo was using O2, but debug seems to have some presets where it doesn't like me using O2. What was the error? He's fucking messaging me so much. Let me just mute Discord. Okay, this is not what I wanted to do today. Maybe just add D&D debug for the heck of it. Maybe the assertions do have a big impact. RTC1 is runtime error checks. Cool. Also a recruitment services company. Slash RTC is runtime error checks. Yeah. I think this is assertions, isn't it? Writing D and debug the heck of it. Or just him? What were you before? Let's just go back. Yeah, all the way back. You were... OD, fine. Odin has first class C support. I'll be honest, I only have ever heard of it from you guys talking about it. OT instead of OD. Cool, I'm just curious to see if anything... These are my places with assertions. Curious to see what this does. It just seems to be all my files, never mind. Okay, this still runs like shit, so I guess it's the OT thing that'll help. There are some interesting features like using SIMD instructions. SIMD instructions? What the fuck is that? Single instruction multiple data. It's a parallel computing process in Flynn's taxonomy. Multiple processing elements that do the same operation on multiple data points. It's like simultaneous computation. Have you read Berserk? I read the first couple volumes, but like 15 years ago or something. I didn't finish it. I would like to go back. I've been thinking about it a lot. Just going back and I'm finishing it, but haven't gotten around to it. I also kind of like the look of the manga, like the actual physical release. You get the giant like deluxe edition. A little pricey there. Alright, this runs like horse shit. Well, I wonder what it's all about. But yeah, I've read a bit Berserk. I think it's cool. I like the art a lot. It's beautiful. Anyway, whatever. Let's just leave it like this for now. I'll resolve this some other time. I was excited to use relative info, but now I've been told off because I won't be able to use assertions that I do kind of rely on. Oh well. Time to write a really assert function that just aborts. Alright, anyway, can you trust one guy with everything about your language? I can't trust one guy to do a single thing, no. Yeah, just kidding. That's a sad way to live. You should trust each other. What happens if you move the OT to outside the debug thing? What? Sorry, this thing? I just do this. You can certainly have a look. I did switch to debug, right? Yeah. Dude, the new Big Blue Archive event came out like yesterday. I need to play it. I was so excited. Did I mention the other stream I was really sad that I finally caught up with the story? And I was like, when does the next chapter come out? Turned out it was Tuesday. Didn't have long to wait. Bam, bam. Be gone, mice. Yeah, that's like a crisp 10 FPS. Is it? Yeah, it's dog shit. Whatever, I'm just gonna suffer, I guess. You guys can enjoy it. I think that's what you want, right? Can I switch to different thing? You are using MSVC? I think so. Pretty easy way to check, right? I thought I was using MSVC. The fuck is it building with? It's just not setting a bunch of settings. It might still be setting with MSVC, just not with any of my options. It's just doing default everything, right? I wish it would just say which compiler it is. Visual Studio Community 2022 release. I just have to assume it means MSVC. Whatever, like, stop distracting me. This clearly just doesn't work. It's been half an hour. Fuck it. We'll just use just use debug. It'll be slow. It's fine. Oh god. Whew. Saved it. I'll just switch to roll with deb info if we're doing like balancing or gameplay testing or something. It only takes 10 seconds to rebuild it. It's fine. I could even add like a max particle size or something if we're on debug. That's not a big deal. Anyway, sprite. Don't know the best way to do this yet. I'm still kind of thinking about it. I'm just gonna run with something for now, and we'll think about it in a moment. We'll do depth as a float because I'm gonna tie it to Y. Does that make sense? Minus depth. Whatever. I'll just run with something for now. Just run with something. Just run with something. Let's see. So everywhere that we're doing renderPass.draw, I actually need to, I guess, copy this rectangle instance around. Weird that it doesn't work. It is weird. Let's move on. Is there anywhere I'm drawing something that isn't a rectangle instance? We've got a sprite instance in render HUD system. That's fine. Render actor system only has 4 calls. That's crazy. But it's a sprite instance and a rectangle instance. Okay. What are you used for? You're used to draw a line, I think. The line of sight. You're being used for drawing the focus circle. So really the only 2 that matter are sprite instances, which I think is weapon and everything else. And then the HUD, I think I'm just going to leave for now. Not going to touch it. So, let's presume for now I only care about... Oh, that's a good point, me. I only care about the actors for now, because I've just had the realization that if I want parts of the background to be on top of the foreground, I would have to draw the map in 2 sections, like a background and a foreground or something. So let's just ignore that for now. Actors, I at least want to be able to sort these, and I at least only right now care about these 2 sprite instances. So what I'm going to do is grab... I don't know if I need to pre-size this vector. I know that entity has a way to count how many entities have a certain component. You can say there's 1,000 sprites to draw, and we could use that to pre-allocate some memory on a vector. I feel like that's more efficient than just adding stuff to the vector and forcing it to constantly copy around. Obviously it will be a little bit off because some of the sprites will be drawn here and some of them will be drawn there, but... Also, actually, I think... Yeah, well, yeah, that might be okay for now. As long as you reuse the same vector every frame, it will basically do that by itself. Well, I would be clearing it at the start of each loop. Because I guess that doesn't immediately free up the memory, right? Let me write something first. Let's just get something, yeah, let's just get something working first. Just something easy. Clearing just sets it to size of 0. It doesn't immediately... Let's just get it working. You're catching strays. What do you mean, Mystic? I should start using the private stuff a bit better, sorry. Not that it massively matters here. Doesn't free the capacity, no. Okay, important. So this might actually be quite easy, I'm hoping. Sprites to draw.clear. Sorry, you a const function. Oh. Could I... Should I change just draw 2D actors to not be const? Because the idea was it was just drawing stuff without modifying it. And that's still mostly the case, except for this. I could inject sprites to draw, I guess. And then have it... Is this the only place using this? Either this will make the vector mutable. This is the only class using it. Render frame buffer. Could also make it remove it. just make it mutable for now. That's not a massive deal. What's the keyword? Just mutable. Okay. Sprites to draw.clear. And then for sprite const auto. We'll need to do some sorting, obviously, at some point. But, you know, this is the rough idea. We'll just do render pass.draw sprite. That's the rough idea. We'll do some sorting here. Sort by depth. So we probably want to also store some slightly different information. I mean, I could just draw it. So one of my thoughts, this might probably not what I'm going to do. But my thoughts were I could have depth buckets, or I could store pairs of the depth to the thing to draw. I could construct some new type to store this stuff. I could do it like as I'm adding stuff to it. Like instead of just putting it at the end, I could put it in its best place. There's probably something you can do with some sort of special key set. I don't know. On the fly sort, comp to on the fly. Yeah, I think if it comes right now it's just position.y. That's where we're starting, but I will modify it. So there will be some times where I want it to be on top of other things. So it'll be y minus a little bit more, or y minus 999 or whatever. For example, some particles I might always want on the top. Bullets I might always draw on the top. When you're shooting your weapon, the Y I think is technically not moving, but I'll need to pretend that it is for that lower half of the circle, so the gun's on top of the player. So it won't always be my depth is Y, but that'll be what I use most of the time. That was my favorite game maker hack, was depth equals minus Y. That thing was beautiful. I miss it. And I mean, depth is Y is just the same thing, right? But Y is not flipped, or it is flipped. Depends how you look at it. Anyway, here's our sprite instance. Instead of render pass.draw, we'll need to let's unsort it first. Let's just add things and get it working before we start sorting stuff, right? What did I call it? Sprites to draw. Probably should change that to sprites to render. And we'll place in place at the back, just for now. Get it working first. Let's see. And you as well. So that's the rough idea. And then that should just work. That should behave exactly the same as it did before. Hello, Y Tower. Nice Pikachu blue skin from Super Smash Bros. Melee avatar. How's it going? What? Anyway, other than that, this is obviously still working. So that's a good sign. Very good. Let's see what we can do about depth then. Let's start with you. Instead of in place back, I could either work out where to put it and allow it to shuffle everything along, or I could just sort in place. Yeah, it wasn't fixed. I've actually been seeing it, I think, a few times every stream, so that's something to spend time on some other time. Weird. I think we're on the right track. Like, I just need to check everywhere again where I'm in placing and removing stuff from the registry. And if it's not that, then I'm wondering if I can, like, there must be a way for me to catch it. I was thinking whenever a bullet spawns, if it's far away from like an entity with a gun, I could abort And just leave that in the game for a while until I catch the bug. Anyway, it's weird, isn't it? And I think it's because it spawns 2 at once. It's definitely spawning a second one. It's like some intra-frame thing. I don't know. Anyway, we could do this, and then we could do sprites to draw dot sort. Although then again, we don't actually have the depth at this point, so we'd have to store depth somehow, I think. Unless I had an intermediary bucket. You can't really sort into a bucket where you don't know the depth of the things within it. Okay. Sprite and depth. Let's just start with something like this. Sprite and depth. And then we'll improve it in a moment. Let's just have something working first. Sprites to draw, sprites to render. Good old F2. It just works. You're studying C++ by following exercises and examples from the C++ language book. Oh, hell yeah. Nice. Are you enjoying it? Are you learning lots? That's really cool. Just something easy for now. Oh, it's standard ranges. Or is it standard views? There was like a better way of sorting, right? Span. Hello, Duction. Range. It was standard ranges, but the one it just prescribed to me is the one with first, last, and predicate. I guess you still have to provide that. Why no music? Oh, is it just really quiet? There is music. It's just what? It has both versions. Because I'd like to just be able to do this, and then my predicate. I don't remember the exact syntax. Or whatever. This would probably be 1 over. It should show the other ones if we press up and down, but clang D is being clang D. Yeah, it's questionable. I mean, this, maybe I just got it right. Let's see, depth is 0, so this should do nothing. Let's see, is that true? Looks same as it did before. Alright, let's see. Sprite instance in this case. You are the weapons, right? So let's just say the depth is -1. This should draw all of them below, or on top, I guess on top. Not as fun as making a whole game in pure C++. It's fun to learn, isn't it? I'm guessing this has done it all. It's reverted. So I need to invert my sort. Wherever that is. Yeah, it should be right side, yeah. I always get this off by 1, the sorting stuff. It's going alright, thank you, Asa. I went to the dentist earlier, and they scrubbed my teeth. Yeah, look at this. So the guns are now on top. So it's The game is still running okay. I don't actually know if that sorting is suddenly making it a lot more expensive, so somewhere to optimize. But yeah, look, now the guns are on top. We've never seen this shit before. I've never seen the guns drawn on top of the player before. That's funny. How does the revolver look? It's the same shotgun? Oh yeah. The mice with the guns on top look kind of funny. Alright, so now what we can do is... I think we have a transform, right? So the sprite may not need its own depth component. I can instead say transform dot. Oh, do I have get draw position already? I can get it here. Ooh. Is it possible to get the sprite instances... Hang on a moment. Is it possible to get its position in the world? I'll want to modify the depth, obviously, but just to get the Y stuff working. Is there no autocomplete on this stuff? Hang on. Dot. Do I have access to your position? Is that public? Oh, I don't get autocomplete because I'm using auto ref. Oh, it's not it. Const ref. Yeah, I can do that. Or does const go after? No, it goes before. It only works because it deduced to const ref. Oh, I guess at this point I'd do this, right? Cool. Is the music volume okay? My Red Bull finished. You guys ever tried the Amazonian fruit that Red Bull's flavored after? There's like a popular drink in Brazil that's made from it. I tried a little bit the other day. It was quite nice. Alright, so things should be sorted by depth now. So, or position. And look at that. So I can walk behind the mouse, he can walk behind me, and we can spin around. What actor? What is actor in the context of my code base? It's nothing. It's this one file that calls them actors. I'm using a bit of I don't know if maybe Unreal Engine does that. I think N64 games call them that. For me, actors are all of the pieces in play. So it's the player sprite, it's the guns, it's the bullets, it's the bullet casings, it's the particles, it's all the gameplay, the dynamic gameplay elements. Probably got it from Unreal. I genuinely think I did get it from Unreal because they also have like the player pawn and stuff because they use a lot of chess terminology. But I think I also got it from, I'm pretty sure Ocarina of Time calls them actors and stages and stuff. And I quite like the theater imagery. I think it's easy to understand. By the way, this probably means if I shoot a bunch of casings on the floor, if its Y is above mine, the casing will now be... Yeah, look at that. The casing is above you. That's funny. So this is one of the things, obviously, the casing should always be below whatever is there. Now, there's something about your guns, little mice, that's looking a little funny. I think they're Z fighting. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We can resolve that easily enough. Let's get some new music playing. Come back, Azure Reflections. Or maybe I can just listen to the Blue Archive soundtrack again. Blue Archive OST. It's such a good soundtrack. Last updated 4 days ago. Oh shit, do they have all the songs from the newer events? I just need to scroll all the way down. Oh yeah. 5 hours ago, they've added a new song. Hell yeah, buddy. Let's put some of the newer songs on then. Okay. Or anything to random on, it's the song that plays when the girl can't play her fucking harmonica. Alright. Fuck me. Alright. Easy game. So we're not... You prefer Entity because that's what Quake used. I think Entity's a bit overloaded in this, though. For me. Because I'm drawing entities in the HUD as well. Anyway, sprite and depth. Depth is going to be depth. Maybe it can still be depth, actually. Y plus LHS dot depth. Depth bias. Let's just do depth. Additional depth. Depth modifier, like... Additional depth, maybe. Make it clear. So, the weapon. Additional depth is going to be true. You cannot bonus. If the angle is below the half moon, or, you know, I could even cap it, whatever, I hadn't thought that far. Do I have an easy to use angle here? Let's look at the first one. I think that's the weapon, actually, sorry. This thing. So... Probably should define how I want to... Oh no, wait. Why was I getting so much Z fighting? They're floats. We're just doing a float comparison. Position is float, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Weird. Okay, anyway. Angle modifiers. Here we go. So I think I can just pop something like this in here. So... 0.f or 1.f or whatever. 0.1. So let's see, if the y is less than 0.f, because I'm pretty sure... Actually, no, this isn't correct. No, this is the sprite scale. This has nothing to do... Why is YouTube not autoplaying? This was the problem I had last time. Okay. Anyway, we're not dealing with a flipped sprite. Weapon is switching. Angle modifier. Oh, You've been struggling with DirectX. Maybe it is just the weapon sprite, angle and scale. I guess I can just experiment with it. Something like this might work. The idea is just, if the sprite is on the bottom half, then put it in front, otherwise put it behind. I think this might be flipped. Syntax error close bracket. Is that so? You're a sprite and depth, you have an additional depth. This is your additional depth. And so... What? Oh, sorry, I'm dumb. Descriptor heap root signature shenanigans. I haven't touched DirectX. I've always heard it was pretty easy to work with. I guess that's not true. Okay, I think this scale. This is obviously not where I wanted the breakpoint. Huh? Breakpoint? Okay, I guess that got optimized out. Fine. I'd probably... Do I still have the inventory in here? This... No, I don't. Hang on a moment, this is a pain. This stuff can't all be optimized out, can it? Hang on. YouTube.bloody.com. Just play the next song. You normally work your absolute socks off to autoplay the next song, but now you don't want to. Anyway, no, YouTube. Oh, good lord. Can I really not read this? I'm in debug mode, right? The game's in the way, I know for you, but this is quite weird. Anyway, I can read it on the left. Scale -1 and 1. Yeah, I don't think scale's the right thing I can read here. Unless it turns out that the angle is what I need. I don't know. Let's see. We are setting using this set angle and scale function, which should be the thing doing the rotation. As for how we convert this into the bottom half, I'm not certain. I suspect it's if angle is less than 1.5 pi or something. I think that's right. Sine angle is less than 0. Is that easier than doing this? Is that just saying, is it under the, is it in the bottom half of the sine? Angles wrapped angles too. That's good advice. Okay, great. Alright, whatever I was cooking here did something, but obviously that's not quite right. Let's see. Angle. So if sine, and sine's pretty cheap to use, right? In this case, I hope you could even add on the weapon sine. Okay, that's not quite right. It's only doing it in the top right and the bottom left, so do I need to multiply it or something? Multiply it by 2? It's a little weird, isn't it? YouTube. Alright, fuck it, I'm just playing a playlist. A playlist, I'm playing just one of these. Sine angle. Is it possible the angle is... Oh. Probably should include the angle modifier. Hang on a moment. It's because it's getting flipped horizontally. I think. No, that actually didn't change a single thing. That's surprising. Same for you, right? Yeah. I guess now it's flipped properly. Why is it sinning? What happens if you put in cosine? Does it just give me the opposite on the diamond? No, it doesn't do shit. That's funny. Cosine should be x. Oh yeah. It was always less than 0. Or larger than 0. Okay. Well, this sign thing is not working for whatever reason. Whatever the reason may be. Let's see. Just pop this back to something more sensible. Okay, now it's always on top. Interesting. The transform the players transform. Good question. I think it is. Yeah. They're quite literally on top of each other. So we're looking at every entity with a sprite and a transform, and then in here we're trying to get an inventory on that. I mean, obviously I can change the numbers to be as such, but oh no, because the player is getting drawn later. Okay, yeah. If I increase the depth to a lot, you can see it's only working in the top right and the bottom left. I think that's funny. I think that's due to my animation system's flipping thing. This thing. I might need to take into account the scale.x. Maybe. Yeah, look. This is it. So if the difference is less than x is less than 0, then we add pi to the angle to ensure that it still works when we flip it. So we'll just need to take that into account. That's not too bad. Kind of... Oh, I should be multiplying by the angle modifier, right? I think. Let's switch progress. That's not quite right. I think it actually is meant to be plus. But what I should be doing in my angle thing is maybe minusing pi from it. Hang on a minute. Let me separate these things back to what they used to be. So the angle we're drawing it at was perfectly correct. I'm just going to say depth is well, that's 0. And then we'll just say depth is I don't know the right default, but let's just say it's 1. And then we'll say else depth is sine angle plus pi is less than 0. I don't think the angle modifier is needed. Oh, it is used, because this is used for flipping. I should rename this. Just to give it some really stupid name to make it stick out, because we definitely do still need this. So, angle. Something like this. That's surprising. Might just have it back to front. Let me have a look. Animation system. We'll be adding pi to it. Plus equals donut numbers pi. We just need to say if the scale is negative, then remove pi. The final position is translate, rotate, scale, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Have a look at that in a moment. This is clearly not quite working. Oh, I'm not setting the depth. Fair enough. Yeah, I should make use of the translate, rotate, scale thing. Anyway, whatever I wrote here does work. That's nice. And this is roughly, I think, how it probably should work. Like, the gun is behind you if it's on that way, and on top of you if it's this way. Looks a little jank when you're aiming down with a big fucking rocket launcher. So you could always split the sprite into two and have, like, half of it always behind you or something. Just thought I've had. At least it makes a little bit more sense now. Yeah, obviously we're adding 10 to it, so if we change 10 to 0. The rocket launcher specifically looks kind of better from behind. Yeah. I mean, from the side it looks okay. But yeah, there's certain things you can change it. You have an additional bias. Yeah, certainly. I'm still not really sold on this animation I made for weapon switching, but the thing was you just couldn't see it because at that point. Okay, 0.1 is clearly not enough, which I'm kind of surprised about. Kind of thought adding that to the depth would work, but maybe not. Again, it's not. Weird. I should fix the depth on the other thing, I guess. I minus angle? Oh, no, the calculation is correct. It's just the additional depth is not doing what I thought it would do. But I think I can fix that in a moment. Needing to add 1.5 is just something I was surprised. I thought if I gave it even just the teeniest, tiniest more bias, it would always draw on top, but it wasn't, which I need to work out why. I mean, this works, doesn't it? Yeah, it shouldn't take much. That was my thought, so I'm just going to check that in a second. We've got this other place we're doing this. We're always setting the depth of the wire. Here you go. This is all it is. So your additional depth can just be 0 for now. And then I can change this back to some tiny number. Who the fuck is messaging me? TK telling me about his mummy. Great. Alright, that's obviously working now. Very good. I may want to add an additional bias to the Y. I feel like the feet should be the origin point. Oh well, anyway. Because that's how it works in real life, right? Kinda. Yeah, that looks good. I do think maybe the guns should have a bit more bias, just so it looks like the gun's over your head, but without spending too long tweaking stuff, this does the job, doesn't it? So, we just need to do something similar down here, where based on some additional components, we may want to add a bit of depth. As for how I want to do that, I'm not certain yet. I was going to say the sprite wants to have its own depth component, and I can just add that on. And by default, that can be 0, fine. But maybe if I'm constructing a particle, I can decide if it's a ground particle or an upper particle by just changing this number. So depth is sprite.depth. And then we'll just say depth plus equals this. Easy game. I want to do the same thing down here too. So, still in the same loop actually. Actually, this can be down here, that's fine. Now you are being shadowed, aren't you? You should also be the weapon sprite's depth. That's fine. And then down here, where we're using it, make sure we use it. And that might be all I care about for now. If I go to my entity factory, of which this thing's had a lot of screen time recently, it's very popular. Bullets, when we're adding the sprite, for example, we can always add 10 to the depth or something, I don't know. Obviously it will be weirder if we make giant bullets, they'll suddenly be behind them, but still like the bullets to be somewhat sorted. Somewhere I think we are adding animation. Here we go. Solo animation. So that's not it. Add animation. We're doing a sprite ref. We discovered that this ref thing doesn't seem to really be doing what I wanted, right? Like even if I think, like even if I did ref of sprite is this, sprite dot depth equals minus 10. Sorry, I add that on add collision. Whoops. Confusing. But I think we discovered that this didn't actually do what we wanted, right? Like even though we are returning a ref to the sprite, and registry.inPlace also returns a ref, there's no reason it shouldn't work. Could we work out before what the problem was then? There was some reason it wasn't working before. I mean, the bullets certainly look like they're on top of things. Hang on a moment. Just spawn a bunch of mice. Clearly I get in flamethrowers. It looks like it's being drawn on top, doesn't it? Obviously we can adjust this by just making the bullet not do damage, so I can check that in a minute. But yeah, maybe it is working just fine. It looks like it's drawing on top of the flamethrower at least, even though it's behind it. Unless, no, maybe it's behind, I can't tell. We were setting scale, oh yeah, it was like being overridden elsewhere, yeah. I think it is actually being drawn behind it. If I add 10, no, I minus 10. That's minus 100. And in the add collision section, we can just remove it. This way I should be able to shoot through things. Is it possible maybe I'm not using depth properly? Let's see. Oh no, it does look like it's always on top. I just needed to make it a bigger number, that's all. Now 100 might be a bit much, but like, I think 10 didn't seem to be enough, because I guess they're size 16, maybe? Position, in this case, is world position or screen position? Screen position, I think. Yeah, it seems to work with you, but with the shotgun it didn't. What was it? Oh, this is totally on top of you. Hang on, is the muzzle flash behind? It is. Yeah, that's funny. But now it's on top, on below, right? Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it looks good, right? I know, sometimes it's behind. Okay, it's that. Well, just minus 32 from it or something. Whatever. We can even make more. We can win minus 64. We basically want bullets to be on top of everything. Probably including particles, I don't know. I feel like they're what matter the most. In a game like this, at least. So, that's when we're adding bullets. With our particle system, I don't necessarily... Well, let me think. I feel like every particle is above other stuff, except for the casings. So for now, I'm just going to do it like that. And then when it becomes more obvious that I want other particles on the floor, like if I have a foot particle or something, then maybe I'll add a section in here. I could add it now, it doesn't take that long. What do you think? Oh, you didn't answer why the colors were strings? The colors are vec4s. So I can directly convert this to a color with LibDonut. This is a vec4. I just have a basic function that converts from a string of comma-separated values into a vec 2, 3, or 4, whatever. So I think I also use that for direction. Because sometimes I want certain things like fire to go straight up. Why not that? Because this is just what I wrote. This is simply what I wrote. That would work too. Would it? Yeah. I basically just fell back on my usual JSON preferences, which is, at least with this library, I'm trying to avoid using the library. I found it easier to write a function that manipulates a string than fuck around with adding another function. That's all. They both do the same thing in the end. Anyway. So in here, in my articles. Somewhere in here we're adding a animation. This thing. So sprite.depth minus equals 32. Am I a C++ wizard? No. I think I'm more like a C++ janitor. No, I don't know. I use it. That's true. Yeah, you will see something in here that you might not like, which isn't working properly. This is not. Don't look at it. Why aren't you using? Yeah. Yeah, the friction on the particles right now isn't using delta time. Don't tell anyone. It's a secret. Well, okay, let's just say all particles are on top for now. This should work. Maybe I will add that thing I was talking about after all. Yeah. Look at these. The bullet casings are obviously all on top now, but more importantly, the like explosions from the rocket launcher are now on top. Feels a little better, doesn't it? I don't know how I feel about the hits done. Maybe this would also be below stuff. I don't know. Like this effect. I think like from a gameplay perspective, it's nice to see when you're hitting. Even if from like a realism isn't the right word, but from a realism perspective, you would expect the sparks that are behind stuff to be behind. I would kind of say as a player, it's kind of nice to see your hits, like who's getting hit. That makes sense? I don't know. Let's see the flamethrower. I'm curious about that. Because these are all on top now. Spawn many mice. Let's just do this. The flamethrower is now always on top. Debug. It definitely looks better to have the flamethrower on top of everything, doesn't it? And also, like when stuff's on fire, it's a lot more obvious now. You can probably see those flame particles on the wall are a little better. Auto companions, that's the coolest. What is a cool auto companion? Like a car? I can actually see there's a particle that's misbehaving. That's funny. The build-up isn't quite working the way I wanted it to. They seem to die a bit quick. The version didn't have read array vec4. V3 will. Oh, thank God. I won't touch it for now then. Like a laser drone or something that fights with you. Oh yeah, I was gonna do drones. Have you played Risk of Rain? I really like the healer and the shooter drones in that. I was thinking of adding something like that. Wouldn't be too hard. The flamethrower needs to do less damage. Yeah, look. His like on fire particle is 2 in the middle. You play a lot of games. Nice. Let's see. Shotgun. I think bullets should always be getting drawn on top, right? Ah, the sniper rifle. That would be a fun one. Yeah, look at that. So like the tracer is always on top. It's funny if the hitboxes line up just so, you can actually hit multiple. You can hit like a few more than you're really meant to. And the sniper rifle's awesome. It's like a good amount of juice. It's nice. Get myself fat. Let's see. Alright, yeah, so bullet casings need to be on the ground, but otherwise, I don't know if I really care. Again, I feel like having the hit effect always visible, like that little spark, is kind of nice. Even if it might look better when it's coming from, like if it's behind the creature, it's kind of, I find it kind of nice. I might even recolor it for like gameplay reasons, or give you a setting to have it bright pink or something so you can see what you're hitting. You're also making a game. That's sick. What kind of game are you making? Backrooms survival horror. Awesome. That'll be popular. Multiplayer or single player? Maybe I do like the rocket launcher on top, at least from the side. It looks kind of funny. Oh, the teeth. They're clean, thank you. They're really clean, actually. In cleaning out the calculus between the teeth, I should actually be able to jam some floss between there, which I do, but like, my bottom teeth are really close together. It's actually quite unfortunate. They're really, really hard to keep clean. But I was told that my teeth were very good, so I was happy with that. I explained that I use the interdental little brushes, but they always snap when I use them on my bottom teeth, so I go through them really fast. She recommended I just buy the slightly nicer ones, and I was like, alright. Apparently you should also be using waxed floss, which wasn't something I'd paid attention to. I'd always just bought the cheap one. But then that floss, the cheap floss from the supermarket, always gets like shredded on your teeth. Apparently the waxed stuff should be better. Hey, itchy dog. Friendly multiplayer. It's an exploration game with monsters. That sounds like fun. Are you working on it by yourself or with friends? Okay. Let me think. Let's do it properly. Let's just say depth override. Depth, additional depth. Override 100. I always want the casings to be on the floor. Something like this. So we need to go to our asset manager, we need to go to our data, whoops. We need to go here, std optional float, blah. Where is reading this lovely thing, asset manager in this spot, blah, 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 blah. Something like this, bam, bam, pass number, and then we will static cast you as a float. This is so much better. Static cast, float this thing, very cool. And then we're loading that over here. And I forgot exactly what I'm doing after this. I'm just creating it. So I think in my, oh god, factory. Oops. Spawn particles. Dot blah is modifiers dot blah dot. Oh, hang on, I need to add it to the modifiers first. This thing. Doing it solo. You're doing it in. Oh, you're doing it in Sandbox. That's cool. I didn't realize people were already starting to use it for games. What's it like? I heard the documentation could leave something to desire, I guess. Yeah, default to having it at 100. Oh, sorry, default to having particles on top of most things. I don't know. I should probably have this stuff in a central place, maybe in common. Let's do that now. What did I call it? Bullet, depth, offset, particle, default, depth, offset, multiplier. What did I call it? Additional depth. I guess offset makes more sense. And let's say bullets is -64 and particles are -64. Bullets should maybe be 96 or something. Maybe even 128. I feel like I don't want explosions to hide bullets, if that makes sense. Even though it might look a little weird, it's kind of nice. Is it cooking in the Netherlands? It's pretty hot here, yeah. So we're going to say spawn bullets, Blah, 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 blah. Where's your... That equals this. There we go. And let's just say the fire is also on top of stuff, maybe. So... Flame... Thrower. I hope this works. Oops. Where is my thing? You. Yeah, float was a good idea for this. Let's say we also want this to be minus 128 or F or whatever I just decided. Yeah. Let's just say that. This should work. If I've done my job. So let's see. I think this will work. Additional depth override. Now I just need to make sure this is being used. So when we're spawning particles, I want to make sure that it has one. Come on. Check my game dev channel. My game dev channel? On Discord, I'll have a look. Dot. Hello, Dejan. So. What's wrong, little guy? Ah. You. There we go. That should work. Alright, let me have a look. It's a great engine already. Sandbox. Let's have a look. Hope this audio isn't too loud. Oh, this looks cool. What's it like to develop in? So you've got that lovely moldy yellow wallpaper. Because it's not actually Gmod 2, right? It's essentially a different thing entirely. This is cool. Not a big fan of the AI generated art, I'll be honest, but maybe you'll replace that in your own time. Seems cool. Alright, let's go back. Yeah, I don't know about the AI thumbnails, but the game looks nice. It's a great C# engine. Oh yeah. This is VS Code. What are you using to compile the code? MSVC, I'm on Windows. You're still working on your Atari game. You managed to get your custom music engine to play some basic tunes. Hell yeah. Is the Atari 2600 like the NES, where there's not a dedicated sound chip, right? You have to do everything in software on the CPU. If I remember on the NES, like if you started having frame lag, like there was one room with multiple dark nuts in The Legend of Zelda, the CPU would slow down, and as a result the music would slow down. Is the Atari like that, or does it have its own sound system? I don't know how it works. I assume it's closer to the NES, right? You needed it to hype yourself up. Whatever got you to work, I guess. Yep, it's also the case here. That's really cool, each dog. I hope you'll share it as development goes on. Mine is C++. He's talking about his own game he's working on. He's talking about how he's using yeah, the additional offset's not quite working. He's using Sandbox to make a game. By the Gary's Mod guy. Okay, the additional Y offset here is clearly not working. The additional depth override. Let's see. So, casings for you. Show a few in screenshots. I'd love to see. VS for compiling, but not VS for writing. No, I'm using Visual Studio Code for everything. You can use MSVC without using Visual Studio. That's not too hard. Additional depth override. 1. Sorry, 1? Sorry, what? Maybe I'm doing something wrong in my asset manager. Let's have a look. You did. I did use. That's true. I did use Visual Studio to install MSVC, but that's just because Windows sucks. It's just because it sucks. MSVC. Yeah, it's just the development kit, exactly. I think if I remember correctly, it's the compiler you're provided. If you install full fat Visual Studio, you go through like the startup wizard, and there's like C++, there's like an option. It's Microsoft's crap. And it's fine. I'm having some trouble earlier with wanting to enable asserts on rel with debinfo or enabling optimizations in debug, but other than that, whatever. So far it's about 20k lines of 6502 assembly with bits and pieces of community created basic for setting graphics because you're lazy. Is it? I might have asked you this stuff before, but is working with the Atari 2600 like, I don't know if this is the right word, but like register based. We have like a big set of static memory, and you write something to a particular field at a particular location, and that's it. You don't call functions on an SDK or something. You say to draw a particle here or to draw a sprite here. You fill up this memory location with what you need, and then the Atari handles it for you. Please tell me there's no memory leaks. Yeah, I'm using loads of memory leaks. I'm mallocking absolutely everywhere. Yep, lots of that. Raw dogging memory management today. When you want to distribute, you can switch to GCC MingW. Yeah, I mean, I can do that. I've got a MacBook lying around somewhere. I can also use Clang of some kind. Although I don't know, maybe Apple Clang's got some weird licensing. But that's a Unix based, right? So I should be able to use whatever. It's not beginner friendly? It's beginner friendly enough. It's as beginner friendly as like swimming in the ocean is, right? You can very easily dip your toes in by the beach. Just don't, maybe in your first swimming lesson, swim like 2,000 miles out into the ocean. That's maybe not the best idea, but you know, once you build up some good lungs and some good arms, maybe you can go out a little bit further with some friends, bit of help, do a bit of research. You can also drown in like an inch of water. What a language. Anyway, why is this shit not working? Additional depth override. Where am I not using you? I'm guessing that... Yeah, I've missed a spot. Not here, not here. Interesting. Yes. Yeah. Alright, here we go. Let's fix this quickly. What did I call it again? Additional depth override. Bam. Bom. That might have fixed it. I think. We'll find out. Sorry, I had the game running the whole time. Based on what you see for now, it's not hard either. I'm not using pointers, templates, and operators. Yeah? It looked like you just dereferencing without checking. Well. Yeah. This isn't dereferencing without checking. This is checking. Maybe the game was hiding it. This is exactly that. It's saying if the value of the standard optional is there, then use that. Float. Otherwise, use something else. Somewhere else. In spawn particles, where I have my asserts at the top, which may not work sometimes. Here, I'm asserting that it exists, and then down here I'm dereferencing it. We use templates and stuff. I use whatever tool is best. What did I do? All register based. You have to very often sync the 6502 with a TFE interface chip by writing to the WSync register. Or to apply horizontal movement, you write to HMove and HMP01. That's cool! Dude, I've watched so many videos about, it's still not working. About the, like, the Game Boy, or writing to, like, the N64, for example, using, like, the V-blank intervals and all this stuff that I don't really understand. Very cool. Still not being set the way I want it to, though. Let's have a look. You're working with 23 at work. Oh, really? That's lucky. We are using 17, I think. So we can't use all the best bits. I appreciate that the game is covering a bit of the screen. There's not much to see right now. Hang on a moment. So our instructions are additional... wherever it is. Why are you 1? You're a bullet casing. Why are you reading 1 for this? Where did you get 1 from? Oh, cock. Easy game. Alright, never mind. Easy game. You're surprised 23 is already being used in production. Yeah, it's only 3 years old, huh? Yeah, very good. Alright, look, that looks like it's working, right? You walk on the bullet casings. That's working perfectly. And the little mice, you should walk on it too, obviously. Very good. Okay, I wanted to check the flamethrower. This should be on top of even normal particles. Kind of hard to tell, I'm gonna be honest. Maybe I could launch a rocket and then also shoot a flame at the same time. Kind of hard to do. Oh, I guess actually I can just look at the... yeah, that's it. This crown. Looks okay. You're always seeing it on top of the grass, right? I think. Man, I'm so fucking proud of the work I did to extract all this particle stuff to JSON. It's so much neater than what I had before, and it's so nice. It just took so fucking long. Yeah, look at that. Depth is cool, huh? Maybe you should change LibDonut to it already. 23. What's the big cheese with 23? We don't... reflection is 26, right? That's like the next thing I'm looking forward to, seeing however they're handling that. I haven't looked into it too much. That's sort of the main thing I feel like this language is lacking. I'm sure there's some massive downside to it, like your compile times shoot through the roof, but I don't know. 17 is usually the most you use as well. Most things you write in C++ are compatible with 11. Yeah, it's pretty normal. When you got the code from an co-worker, you saw the version. I hope they aren't using 20 or so. 23. That's cool. Mostly smaller fixes. Yeah, I mean, 11 was like the big... what's the word? Shift. There's a very fancy word for saying like everything changed. It's on the tip of my tongue. Something shift. It was the big something shift. You guys remember, right? Oh, sorry, Itchy. It's very tight. You have 72 CPU cycles available per scan line. So you mostly execute game logic in VBlank or overscan. It's really tricky to get anything right. Yeah, I think that's really cool though. I agree. You only figured out C++ releases and you standard every 3 years. Oh yeah. It's very convenient. Exactly every 3 years, huh? Dude, what a job interview question. Like, what are your thoughts on C++ 22? Now in my head, I'm like, maybe there is a 22. It's like a mid version. I've just never heard of it. I'm pretty sure they just jump. They do jump every 3, right? They don't use interim numbers for like debug or like for in development releases, do they? I use 27 personally. Finally adding a garbage collector. All right. I'll be honest. The depth stuff just works. I don't think there's much else we need to do for now with depth. I want to see this next. They removed. They actually had garbage collector support and removed it because no one used it. Really? I had no idea. How stupid is it? Or not stupid? I could have 2 render parsers for the background. I could have background like the grass that you walk on, and foreground like the walls and the air, the black bit around the edge. Could maybe be called bedrock or something, but air it is. So I could have like a sandwich, like background, the stuff you walk on, actors, particles, whatever, and then overlays on top of that. And then even on top of that, I could have further overlays. How stupid is that? Because I've already got my render gameplay background stuff here. I could just override this to pass in which I want to do the foreground or the background. And then maybe as I'm handling all this stuff, I could just put nothing in for sections where it's the tiles I'm not interested in. Does that make sense? Or I could even draw 1 per Z level. Maybe all the actors exist on Z1, the background exists on 0, and the foreground exists on 2. What do you think? Maybe depth could be Z multiplied, or like Z plus, and Z could be like a really big number. Yeah, I know garbage collector is normally for interp languages. I was yoking. I was doing a yoke. A funny joke. Anyway, I don't exactly know how that would work. I could modify the shader to just ignore... What was it? Full screen? As part of 23 to remove garbage... Hang on, I need to Google this. C++ 20 garbage collector. It's heap related then, right? I guess. Well, there is a library for it. Interesting. It's for when unique pointer and shared pointer fail. Mark and sweep algorithm. Don't know what. It must be like a mathematical thing or some. Like, why would you need a garbage collector in this language? If you're like using a heavy amount of heap and the program was written by someone who's missing all their pointers constantly. If your program for some reason involves allocating memory and then forgetting about it. Weird. Anyway, this is my full screen shader. My thought was somewhere in my texture I could have a blank texture, like a transparent one, and I could draw that if the type I'm passing in is not one I want. Tile size, map data offset in tiles. You What am I doing? I'm doing like get file copy, right? Here we go. So the map staging buffer is where I'm filling this stuff. I'm putting it into this paste image 2D, and I'm putting it in as the 5th thing? Pixels? Is that right? Yeah, I think so. So what I was thinking is, can I just not put it in the staging buffer in the first place? Hang on a moment. If tile dot type. Why are you called tile? That's really stupid. This is quite old, I guess. Come on now. Hang on, what are my tile types? If it's, I don't know, air, don't add it. I don't know what gets drawn behind there. That's not really a good idea. Floor normal. Something like that. Flowers. Floor normal. 15. I don't know. Just something lazy. Did I have a tile type floor? Normal? You should be 15, right? 15.0. Tile cat. Oh, I have get tile cat, right? Tile type. So if it's a floor, then add it. Does this just do what I want? Because then this might be quite easy, actually. Oh, shit. It's not quite what I want, but it is doing something. Holy shit. Yeah, so I guess we need to fill in something instead. Maybe something that we could interpret as like a blank pixel. What does it look like if I invert that? I think the map staging buffer needs to be full of data that matches, it lines up with the pixel coordinates of everything. So what I can do instead, I push back, if it's floor, do this, else push back air. I don't know. Here's the proposal for it. Oh, thank you. I'll have a look in a moment. Removing garbage collection support. Oh. Whee! This is a big fucking page. Cool, thanks. Alright, actually hang on, maybe we are getting to something. I just need to create... Actually, it doesn't really matter. The background's always drawn first. Hang on a moment, this might be really quite easy. Draw 2D world. I think you're only used here, right? The menu's using it as well. Whatever. Now, I'm very, let's say, creative. I can say which layer to draw. I could pass that in. They basically removed some functions like declare reachable and no pointers, which weren't being used by anyone. Okay. Let me say... I think it's a UN8T layer, something like that. So, here's our layer. And we want to go to our system. I've got the hiccups. So we're now going to draw our layer in. And in our systems manager, we're going to first draw the world with layer 0. Then we'll draw the actors. I guess we had the world 2D overlay. Just getting this working for now. And then we'll have layer 2. Well, layer 1 and then layer 2. I don't know. I feel like the actors are at level 1. So... don't necessarily know how I want to do this yet. Maybe we don't use 2. Maybe we just have 0, everything else, and 1. That could work. And then what 2, if we do implement 2, could be like stuff. You know how in like Link to the Past you have like the forest overlay on top of everything, like the sort of, you're looking through the trees? That could be level 2. Anyway, by doing this, we might be able to abuse something in... Well, I say abuse something. I'd thought about this at some point. We have our cats. Max layers is currently 1. I was thinking that as you are placing things within the world, in our level generator, for example, we always use 0 right now. I'm thinking that we replace this 0 with the Z of that thing. So floor would be 0, wall would be 1. It does mean that we'll have to start using Z, which might slow the game down a bit. I mean, we're already now iterating through everything twice. I can't really think of a better way to do it than this, I'll be honest. Not without some magic. Masking or something. Whatever. I'm just going to fudge it first and see if it looks any decent fudged, and then we can implement it properly. So, here, we're passing in a layer. It's just going to be this. If layer is 0 and it's a floor, then put it in. I'll say it like this. This is lazy, by the way. If layer is 0, else if so just for a moment. If it's layer 0, then I want to draw all my floors, otherwise I want to draw all my everything else. So if it's on 0 and it's a floor, then we put it in. Otherwise, we don't need this bit anymore, I guess. It's not floor, we'll put it in. Now this won't work exactly at the way we want, because the air is a filled in thing. Do I have a empty or null or something? If not, I should definitely add that. I have a feeling I don't. Undefined? Hang on a moment. What did I call that texture that I'm using? Atlas? No. Level? Tile set? Tile map. Tile set. This isn't it. Hang on, I'm just gonna load a sprite. Let's see. It's a little expensive to draw a bunch of pixels that are transparent, I think. It's technically overdraw. So what if we were to improve our shader, we would say skip 16 by 16 space, but let's not optimize before we've got it working. Let's see, a sprite. Somewhere in here, I've got my world. If I haven't put it in world, I'm really stupid. I've put it in here somewhere, haven't I? I should delete some of this crap. It shouldn't take this long for me to find my stuff. Tile map. It was tile map. Okay. One of these should just be empty. So, bam. There you go. 83, 85, 86, 87 can be blank. A little annoying, a little weird, but whatever. always adjust things. I can always make air. No, I want air to be solid now. Anyway, 80. Reuse 0. Tile set. Modify existing tiles. Reuse tiles. What are you? Oh, you're not transparent. What are you angry about? Add foreground color to the palette. I guess nothing isn't part of my palette. That's a funny thought. My music ended. Okay. Give me Minecraft Volume Alpha, but it's the SM64 sound font. This one's funny. Did I not make a blank tile? Whoops. This should work, right? Number 87. Okay, it's a little weird the way I had to do that. Apparently this is also different somehow. Maybe? I don't know. Sprite's weird sometimes. Let's just go with this. So number 87 in my tile set. That is on this row. So you are 31, and you're going to be tile cat. Not wall. Air. I just add a new category for it. Undefined. The walls shouldn't really ever interact with this because it's not part of the level. It's purely used for drawing. So I'm going to make a new one called No Draw. You're going to be called Pile No Draw. And I think that might be... Oh, hey, Itchy. You fell asleep while watching because it was comfy. Oh, dude, I could go for a hot chocolate. Alright, buddy. Good night. Good luck with the X80... Not X86. Good luck with the Atari. See you next time. Alright, anyway. I've got the tile no draw thing now. I think that should just work. Fingers crossed. Let's see. So, what we should see is the floor. And to be honest, we could just draw everything and just accept overdraw. I don't know if it's more expensive to draw a transparent nothing than to draw the actual particles. I feel like it simplifies some of the maths somewhat in the shader, but the shader I think isn't optimized that much. Okay, something's angry at me. Draw 2D world in here. Ah, okay. Need to fix that. You want to take in a... What was it again? UN80. I guess this gets called twice. I should change this. Layer. This is going to draw twice. I'm just going to say if layer isn't equal to 0. Return. Keeping cheerful, huh? I think I called it layer, right? Yeah. Well, I call it layer here, obviously. Let's see. Not quite. I think this horrible color that I've accidentally picked is just there's nothing being drawn. Which is funny. So let's see. Just make sure this is actually getting called. Okay. It's not floor. Maybe the no draw thing isn't quite working the way I want. It's not equal to floor. Hang on, if I just get rid of the floor drawing for a second. Maybe get tile cat needs to be updated. Yeah. Maybe? No, this is fine actually. No draw. Tile no draw. Hang on a moment. Tile no draw. No, that's correct. Oh, this is weird. And if I change you to this, you do draw the floor, right? Or is it just the case that layer isn't being passed in the way I'm expecting? Okay, that's really quite weird. Well, yeah, obviously. So what we should probably do... No, actually, this is fine. Something's going a little wrong. It only seems to want to draw the first section. Sorry, if I do it like this, shouldn't you just draw the whole map exactly as you did before? Am I not clearing the staging buffer at the right time? Oh no, you're being cleared here. So here you're drawing the floor. Okay, fine. And if you're not the floor, this should draw the walls. This bottom chunk here, this layer is one thing. It's clearly not working. I think it's... something's not right. What am I missing? Something about the order of operations here is wrong. Why would layer being one break here? What's happening in the other draw function? What's being reset? Or what's not being reset? I know the game's in the way a little bit. Is it clear frame buffer, color and depth? No. Hello, what are you doing? I wanted to draw... You've been gone for a while. I wanted to draw the floor, then all the actors, then all the walls. So the walls would appear on top of stuff. Something about calling this draw 2D world again is breaking something. Even though renderer.render is already being passes. I'm thinking maybe it's because I'm reusing this staging buffer between... No, but even then, I'm a little confused. Something's wrong, and I think maybe it'll be fixed if I just had a separate function and didn't reuse quite everything. I'm thinking... Oh. Looks like you've changed the internals. Change the internals. Looks like you've changed the internals. Changed the internals. Let me... What was that? This check before? This, it was just directly calling this. Oh, I guess one left bracket. I guess I can see. This should hide all the actors behind the map. That's what this should do. This should just draw tiles. And it does, but it's not... You have to call pushback the correct number of times. Yeah, I'm aware. I'm aware. Now I'm a little confused because in my systems manager, we draw the actors, and then I call this draw 2D world thing again. So this should be drawing on top of the actors, right? But it's not. What's this music? Minecraft Volume Alpha, but in the SM64 sound slot. Yes, I understand that, Donut. Something... I might just need 2 different staging buffers. Best way to get into coding? Projects. Doing little projects. Hang on, let me just confirm something. If I get rid of this call here... This is really weird to me. Obviously that's how that works. Why are the actors still being drawn on top of the world? I'm calling render past render. Does this defer? What's the Z value in the map vertex shader? It doesn't just draw the most recent thing on top of everything else, like Painter's style? That's interesting. So I might not actually need to I might not need to use this function twice then. I might actually be able to do what I said and use Z to imply depth. If the depth buffer is enabled, it might be using that. Oh, hang on, can I make use of the depth buffer then? That would be really handy. Because as I said, my plan was to make it so I could use the Z coordinate, which I've been carrying around like a vestigial limb. The 2D shader default shouldn't be writing to it. Oh, no, let's have a look. These are all Vec2s. Hang on a moment. What's the default shader called? Previous shader 2D. Previous shader 2D. Sprite shader. Maybe it does in this version. Maybe. Shader configuration. Maybe it is using Shader 2D. Shader 2D plane. Where is this? Where did you put your shader stuff? Ah, here we go. Shader 3D using to draw the map probably does use it. How does that interact with the 2D shader though? If I'm drawing to the screen with multiple shaders and one of them has a... I mean, you can see this depth buffer mode here being set to ignore for 2D. How do they interact? By ignore, does it just draw stuff in the order? But by using it, does it draw stuff backwards into the screen? That makes sense. It's drawing at the same Z value as the previous layer. Every pixel gets discarded if the default mode is less. Can I manually set the Z for the background to be particularly high and just see how that looks? Because that might just create the behavior that I want without any effort. This stuff here. Less is the default, so this makes sense. Oh, thank God you're here, and I would have not worked that out anytime soon. Is it view offset, tile size, tiles? Where am I? Tile position. Chunk. Final chord to model instance. Yeah, but I don't know which of these is actually the position. View offset, view size, map data offset. This thing, maybe? No. Transformation. Oh, by 1 to 0. So it's 0. If I set this to minus a big number, what happens? Okay. I should probably be drawing something. Let's just say they'll both be at that Z. They'll both be. Oh, does the 2D just reuse the last both layers? There's only one right now. Look. I am calling draw actors. Then I am calling draw 2D world with 1. Who cares? So I'm calling it right now here. Yeah? It comes in here. Get rid of that return. Okay, that's a good start. This should be on top of the actors, right? It's not. If you just want to see it draw over the player, try a positive value. Positive value. Actually, no, wait. This was for menu. This is fun. Layer is being ignored. This is a positive value. So I guess I'll try a negative value then. Because that didn't work. I saw something in your shader code about how it tries to reuse old, like, other shaders or something? Is it possible that the actor shader is reusing the background one and defaulting to using a depth buffer or something? This is kind of weird though, that setting this to a big number and a small number, negative being a small number, it ignores the depth buffer so it won't care. Well, yeah. Can I just... so I will need to write my own shader 2D, right? Some kind? Can I write one that uses the depth buffer then? Because I would prefer to only call this render function once, iterate through everything that needs to be rendered, and then do that once, but then provide a depth for each of these pixels, and then allow the shader to handle the overdraw, if that's possible. Like just giving the ground a Z of 0 and the walls a depth of 100 or whatever. How can I make use of that? I guess I'm already using a custom shader here. Is it as simple as just... You want to specify depth per pixel in the tile set or one? I want to do the thing I just explained. Which is... Here's MS Paint. Can I draw a skewed... Of course you can't do a skewed square. Do it like this, maybe. You didn't hear the full explanation, that's my bad. One moment. I want it to be like this. So we draw the floor tiles, actors, particles, etc. Walls, air. That's the idea. My plan, just to get something working before I realized about this depth buffer thing, was just to cheaply and easily, just to try it out, draw all the floor tiles, draw all the actors, and then call that first function again, but anytime we come across a floor tile, the thing we add to the staging buffer would be a transparent texture for that 16 by 16 thing. So this texture here, this transparent one. And then the basic idea was like we'd end up punching a hole through bits here, so you could see some of the actors through. You know, if this section in here was like this, you'd actually see floor. You'd see actors, or you'd see floor, and you'd see some actors through that as well. Something. So the top is what like the player sees, if that makes sense. You'd see like, you know, half of this actor sort of under the wall, so you only see a little bit of it. It's fine to call it multiple times. It would be easier if they were on separate layers from the start. Okay, you wouldn't have to filter tile by tile. Yes, that's for later. That's fine. That being said, doesn't the staging buffer require you to fill in something for every coordinate on the screen? Or is it able to skip over sections? I didn't remember seeing that. I thought I would still have to define a cutout tile. Right? So this was the idea in the code you used to see in here. You need to have something for every tiles. Okay, so what I came up with is not such a stupid idea. That was my original plan, but now you're talking about this depth buffer thing. Can I just have one call to draw the background stuff, which at the same time also draws the top, or like passes to the render buffer the top stuff and the bottom stuff, and then I call the actor stuff in the middle, and I provide a Z for the bottom to whatever the number is, 0, 1, and 2, or whatever. And then I only have to do 2 draw calls, and the depth buffer in your shader code would handle that with only 1 call to the renderer. Would that work as well? Because right now, the actors are already drawing on top of something that I've requested to render afterwards. The whole plane has the same Z value. Okay. Never mind then. I'll just go back to my original idea then. That's fine. And yeah, I won't have to filter by tile because I will filter by my Z in the level editor. Floors will be 0, walls will be 1. I just iterate over those, and if it's not in it, then I provide a well, by default I provide the cutout tile, if that makes sense. Anyway, maybe, I don't know. The Z value to right is decided by the vertex shader. Okay. Anyway, this all seems fine then. Can I simply... Here I've created a full screen shader. Can I just make, in my render actor system, a 2D shader of some kind? And provide some option to enable the depth buffer. Something like this, maybe. It can be private. Shader 2D. I feel like the actor doesn't need 3D. Don't see the point right now. Yes, or just draw them on different Z. But we still need to make it care about the depth buffer, right? Otherwise it ignores it. Is that not what you were saying? Like if it ignores the depth buffer, it just gets drawn at the top. Is that not what we were seeing? Because I made the map have -1 million and +1 million depth, and that didn't at any point draw the actors on under it. I mean, make draw 2D world take a parameter that chooses which Z to draw to. So it does use Z then. It's not that things that ignore the depth buffer are just drawn after everything else. Question mark. The different Zs is to make sure you can draw multiple map layers without everything past the first one getting discarded. Yeah? You can just disable depth buffering in the map shader too. Do I not want that? What would... Yeah, why would I need depth buffering if I'm drawing things in like this in these layers anyway? It's not being used. I mean, we don't have actual 3D things right now at all. Yeah, actually, hang on. Maybe that does work. Okay, hang on a moment then. I was thinking about doing the shader for 2D anyway because I feel like I needed it. I wanted to at some point fuck around with lighting shaders, but that's not a job for today. So yeah, here, when we're looping over, instead of passing in tile Z, we would pass in, we'd just use layer, I guess. Something like that. Music reminds you of Minecraft. Music is Minecraft. It's Minecraft Volume Alpha, but with the Super Mario 64 sound font. It's the link I put just above in chat. It's good, isn't it? It's on vinyl. Wow. Cool. Alright. Let's just bring back some of this 0. Hang on just a moment. This can be layer. And Z can be a float, right? It's on vinyl with the Mario sound font. I think they've just used like a custom printing service. I think you can send anything you want over to them. It doesn't mean it'll be printed in good quality, or cut, I guess. Let's see. So, layer is now 1, and my full screen shader, I want to disable the depth buffer. Is that just something I can do like this? Depth buffer mode. Buffer mode. Ignore. It'd be an oddly specific thing to own a vinyl of. I actually think it'd be kind of a sick vinyl. I would rather have volume alpha though. I've seen volume beta on vinyl, but I don't care about volume beta. I would love volume alpha on vinyl. You gotta sleep even though you're a programmer. You could have more coffee, right? Alright. See ya, dude. Thanks for watching today. We're gonna find out pretty quick if I've messed around with Z too much, aren't we? Okay, you're not quite working yet. I'm basically trying to get this to work to the point that you can't see any actors. So I guess I can hard code the position here to be something else then. Let's just do it cheap and cheerful, right? Just something silly. It should definitely cover them, yeah. But it's possible that the player doesn't have a Y or something like the what am I trying to say? Something's off. The Z might not be correct. Oh. Hello, Mabdo. Wait, you give me a Vec too. It's always 0 or 1. How am I doing? I'm doing okay, thank you. How are you? Yeah, hang on then, something... hang on. So regardless of what I'm passing in here, it's 1. Okay. Hang on a moment. Layer being passed in here is 2 on top, right? Like, if I pass in 2 here, it should render the level on top of the actors, I'd think. But it doesn't. It in fact doesn't render... It only goes up to 1. Z? So So I do need to make... What? Sorry, is there no way in your framework to have a 2D beneath a 3D? That can't be right. An with an orthographic projection. Is 1 your screen and 0 really far back, or is 0 the screen and 1 like some arbitrary distance back, or how does it work? I'm great. That's good to hear, dude. Why did I need a 3D for the world again? Could this not be a 2D? NDC space is -1 to 1. So there's no way to accomplish this with your current framework then. 0 is camera and 1 is infinity. So what's 1? What's -1 then? As long as everything ignores the depth buffer, it shouldn't matter. It should be based on draw order. Well, let's double check I've done that then. Depth buffer mode is ignore. Have I passed this incorrectly? That's in the shader 3D options. This should do the job, right? Should I use a depth test predicate? I mean, it should be getting ignored, right? I'd imagine. Shader 2D is ignoring it as well. Face culling mode. Alpha mode. Use alpha blending. As long as well, it's not ignore. It's not using the draw order, right? Let's double check that. Draw actors, then draw world, and this number doesn't matter at the end. It's clearly not doing that. I'm using the full screen shader, right? And you're saying this last bit shouldn't matter. You know nothing about OpenGL. You're talking about Vulkan. Oh, okay. That is. Do it like this. Is render actor system really using draw 2D actors? Good question. Let's check. I'm about 100% certain that it is, but let's find out. You have depth. That's what I've been doing today, yeah. Looks like it is. Draw 2D actors, yeah. Yeah, I was adding depth today, Mabdo. And it's working on actors quite well, actually. I can show you again. So things are sorted by their Y right now. You can see I'm behind the mouse. Now I'm in front of the mouse. So this is nice, and I was just trying to get it worked with the background too. So these sorts of things can be in front or behind as desired. The map drawing is draw 2D world, not draw 3D world. Oh, maybe it's draw 3D world. That's a good catch. Let's have a look. No, it's draw 2D world. Well, yeah, it's the one where I added the extra layer parameter. Draw 2D world. Which is here. So draw actors, draw 2D world. Something's fishy. I'm a little confused. I'll be honest. I think this is something to do with the framework, right? You're saying that I can't change the Z for a sprite. Then I'm stuck with sprites being at 1, and there's nothing further into my face than a 1. I'm guessing 1 is camera then. Maybe. Or in front of the camera. Is it the same render pass? No, it's different render pass. They are separate render passes, yeah, they are. That's true. What's... I mean, I could combine them. Well, I guess. But it's still, even if they're different render passes, shouldn't it still... Okay, well, first of all, it's not drawing the world on top still. If they're using the same death button, I mean, yeah, it should still just be order of operations then. We're doing the world last, so it should draw the world last, right? What does your render thing do? This should be false, right? Where are you using imgui again? Hang on, why is use frame buffer 1? Or am I misreading this? We're messing with the render state. Okay. Do you think imgui is forcing it to be on or something? Possible. Just double check this is coming in. Depth matter mode is coming in here as ignore. 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 Okay, let's have a look. Pickles GL enable GL depth test. Just double checking here. Oh, I mean, obviously that's not getting called here. Actually, that's good to see, by the way, that this branch was never getting hit. GL disable is what's getting called, which makes sense. Let's see. Or did I set this up in main? Whoops. I feel like it's in game, right? Yeah. Probably here somewhere. Let's see. So you can change it. Feels to me like they're doing it off by default. But let's see. There's a way you can adjust these. I don't remember the syntax. Mgui config. It's just like a one-liner to apply a config. IO. Is it like this? I don't know if it's IO. It would have to be a per frame thing. Well, that's fine. Depth. So, mgui render. You can say render draw data. So you can set certain things. Oh, actually, can I put a breakpoint in there? Probably not, right? Oh, I can. 0. 0 here. 0. It seems to be 0. ImGUI depth test. I mean, can I not just do this? I don't know if this is necessarily the right place to put it, but can I not just put it in directly? I mean, it's not working, yeah. Music's loud. Oh, is it? I can lower it. There you go. I feel like the render order has to be wrong somehow. Okay, here it is on the screen. We draw the actors and then we draw the world. I don't know how you can read this any other way. Oh wait. What have you seen? You can see another way to read it, lol. Yeah? Tell me. What do your elf eyes see? 'Cause I guess this is the problem with using an external framework. I don't necessarily know how your renderer works. Consider that they're different systems. This has nothing to do with the framework. Doesn't? The call to renderer? Okay. Tell me then, what are you thinking? It's about the structure of the loop. Okay. In display, we call this in order. Alright, well, I'm still gonna read through this. They're using the same viewport, aren't they? They're using the same viewport and the same camera, which is something I was wondering about. There's no inner loops for each system, it's doing this in sequence for every system. Yeah? That's true. Well... Oh! Yeah, actually, hang on a moment. Could it be the order? Yeah, actually, that's a good thought. Hang on a minute. That's a really smart thought. In which case it'll be this thing then. I think you've got it. Which is a lot of render passes. Well, most of the time these aren't doing anything. Most systems don't override this stuff. But yeah, it'll be where current systems is being loaded. I think that's exact. I think you've thought about exactly what this is. Where the fuck am I saying these? Sorry. Load games. Load. Play system. I got a stupid name. Yeah, let's see. We're doing actor system, HUD system. Yeah, look. Refactor it to have one loop for each render pass. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea. Hang on just a moment. So if I just flip these two, that should render the gameplay on top of the actors, right? A bit of overhead to call render. Yeah, look. Okay. God, that's a weird one, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I'll be honest, I thought the way that the renderer worked was like I was rendering to something that at the end of the loop was finally drawing to the screen. Like I thought we were filling up some data buffer with something that then gets rendered at the end, but I guess that's not the case. Dot render really is drawing the pixels directly. Because when you were talking about the depth buffer, I was like, oh, so that means in one section somewhere I can render something, and then somewhere else I can render something, and it can be underneath, even though I called it afterwards. That's what render pass is. Yes. This is funny. Yeah, look, because in the pause systems they use the original ordering. Hang on a moment. Well, this is simple enough. Where are we doing our looping? This thing. So, for every system in systems, well, how do I want to do this? I could also just have this loop multiple times, so I could loop over all the systems and do everything, do all of these in different loops. Like draw all the backgrounds, then all the 3D worlds, then all the actors, then all the worlds, then all the overlays, then all the HUDs. If that makes sense. Ugh. That's how it should work. Yeah. Because right now it goes through all the systems and then does background world, actors world for that system, and then it'll do another one, and the world for that will actually be drawn on top of the previous one. So I don't know if there's an easier way of doing it, but that's the rough idea, right? You don't know why I ended up this in the first place. I don't know either, I'll be honest. It also means I can do this. Would I want them to share a frame buffer? You were previously being done in that loop. Okay, hang on, let me think about this in just a moment. If the local player exists, this frame buffer is just the screen in this case. It's just the screen in this case. What do you mean? Oh, this is the draw minimap section, so this actually is fine. Although maybe we should loop this in here. Oh, hang on, we're doing some zoom scale stuff. You asked if they should share it, the answer is yes. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do it like this. It is the image you draw to. Yeah, I get that. But I think in this case, everyone should just use one render pass, right? Everything. It should be outside each loop, right? Is it because we're calling render like a million times? I think previously we had lots of different cameras and viewports and stuff. Obviously this is not... Yeah, look, the minimap uses its own one. Yeah, this always felt a bit weird to me, I'll be honest. So I'm glad we're finally looking at it. I should name it explicitly though. I mean, I could keep all these things in their own scope. And then I can have this thing in its own scope. This is like the mini-map scope. Whee. Mario, Mario, Mario. I fucking love this song. It's so good. The if is already the scope. Oh, yeah. I mean, just to make them look the same. A good reason to do something? No. Mario, Mario, Mario. This should be a different render pass though, right? Because this is doing a different render. Different viewport, different camera. This is the minimap stuff. Same indentation level, yeah. It's worth... I mean, I like the whole album, but it's worth listening to the whole album for 56 minutes just to hear this song. Boing. Bye. Here we go. Let's do some cheap and cheerful thing quickly. My music ended. I hope you guys like music. I like music. I mean, this is as cheap and cheerful as it gets, right? Honestly, this is going to be deleted in 2 seconds. Let's just leave it like this. Shut up. Just 1 minute. Good lord. Look. The map is now on top of the player, and there's a cutout. The floor is obviously not being rendered properly, so we'll fix that in a second, but look. Now when you shoot your bullets against a wall, they like go under it. I haven't heard of that map though. Yeah, you can walk around the corner. It's Game Boy style. Okay, let's get the floor work. Oh, that's cool. What the fuck? Oh, I changed the order, didn't I? The corner's like a bit shite. Well, thanks, dude. I don't care. I can redraw sprites as I like. I can always change these things. What was I doing? Oh, Oh, is that a banned map though? Am I gonna get banned off YouTube for playing it though? Oh, this is odd. Is it because they're sharing something? Change the tiles to have alpha there and always draw grass on the floor. Yes, Donut, I could. Just ignore that for now. This first section isn't quite doing what I want. Let me work that out. I have a feeling it's being overwritten. So do you see we see the floor here, right? Weirdly, we see the floor on top of the player. That shouldn't be happening. If layer is 0, and then in Systems Manager, hang on, am I being dense? We draw everything at 0, then we draw the actors, then we draw everything at 1. Oh, I guess we could now just ignore. Okay, I need to. This cheap and cheerful is becoming weird. If the staging buffer is empty, it will read garbage. Yeah, okay. Let's just pass in no draw for layer 1 then. Poison Gin Wigmore. I can Google it. Huh, yeah. Touch me, only when nobody knows. I'm not your only woman. Turn me into your lonely secret ghost. Are they Kiwi? Yes. I'll listen to this later and let you know. Okay, I think the no draw thing is not doing what I want. Hang on a hot minute. Don't play if it's going to ban you. I can just listen to it off stream. Oh, wait, hang on, I'm being stupid, first of all. Interesting. So just by having this in here, can I just draw with 0 again? This should draw the 0 on top, right? Oko Brew Katana 0. I'm enjoying my music. Sorry, I'm a little confused why this isn't working. It's not actually a no draw tile. It's just a blank texture. I'm a little confused why. It's a blank texture. Position 31. Can I not draw a blank texture? Position 31, it's this thing. File, export. I mean, I can give it a little circle. I would expect this now to draw red dots everywhere. Which it does. Why is it deleting the stuff that's under it? Is that simply how the... Is that how the no depth buffer thing works? It just deletes whatever I've previously wanted to draw? You understand what I mean, right? I'm trying to draw a transparent texture under the impression that it just wouldn't overwrite what's there, but this seems to be erasing what's underneath. Is alpha blending enabled? It should be. Use alpha blending. Yeah, it's overdrawing, but that's weird. It's two different render sequences. Could I give them this different render passes? Would that change anything? Is it because they're using the same render pass and it's trying to draw something at the same Z? It's probably overwriting it. Do you think they should have separate renderers? Maybe. Maybe because they're using the same texture. Yeah, but it should already be drawn to the screen at that point, right? I guess not. I guess renderer.render only draws at the very end. Yeah, maybe. Okay, hang on. That might be easy enough to fix. I'll set texture. Well, that's not... Is that it? Yeah, do you think it's overriding... I think they're using two different textures, yeah. I was using the same texture, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, that might be up. One that's called texture, not tile set texture. Well, the other thing. This is using a different one then. Map tile textures. I don't think that's it. This is a different thing. Yeah, that's it. Is it? Data textures. That can't be right. It's using one per map layer, but the layer you're passing in doesn't affect that. Okay. So I actually do need to use... So it is overwriting it. Okay. Fine. I can't cheap and cheerful this at all then. I just need to do it properly, unfortunately. Have one set of map data textures per call. Well... I'm thinking... The game currently defaults to air if there's something not on that layer, but really I need a way to say if there's nothing on any of the layers. I want there to be air if there's nothing on any of the layers. Otherwise to use no draw if there's something on the layer below. I guess I could just check the other layers. Just makes drawing really expensive. One set of map data textures per call. I can do that for now at least. Just to feel something. Day of the Tentacle. I mean, this is Ocarina of Time. More separate. Yeah, that'll be elegant. I just want to see it working before I start getting into the minutiae. Yeah? Oh, this could be standard array. And this could just to see it working, right? 2. Updated textures. Something like that. Yeah, it's this and this way. Bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Is that it? Might be it, yeah. Fucking love Ocarina of Time, dude. Oh! By Jove. Alright. That's it. Let's see how that looks with an explosion. Yeah, look at that. Now the walls look like they're actually like on top of stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's not like I don't disagree about the corner thing, but I would say in Game Boy games you don't get transparency on this, but you also don't really get this depth effect, so I'm already breaking convention. I just wanted to see this kind of working before I focus on anything else. My plan is to, during level generation, provide a Z value to the wall or floor, whatever, and then to draw those to different layers. I just need to... Honestly, I don't know. I want to default to no draw if there's no tile on that coordinate at that Z. But then that means that the void here would just have to be some overdraw texture, like black. Or just have to be, like, underneath the void would just have to be black, but then it wouldn't be on top of everything. And I kind of like right now that if I were to go out of bounds, I'd be underneath the wall. I feel like if I had like a really big monster near the wall that's like 32 by 32, I don't want it suddenly being visible in this space. I think Nuclear Throne does that, and I think it looks kind of shit. I like the idea that all the wall is on top of everything else. Also, I don't know how possible, this might be impossible with this current system. It would have been nice to depth sort the tiles by their Y. I feel like I'd need to draw them in the same... Well, you said I can't change Z, right? Like the player on top, especially when you're below top. Yeah, underneath it looks a little weird, but if you change your mindset and think that we're in like a forest and that this is actually like the edge of like a tree or something, it kind of makes sense. Because my design idea was meant to be that like this is like the top of like a canopy or like a bush or something, and when you're against it, you're actually like kind of inside the bush a bit. Which makes sense to me. Also, it means all the particles are drawn below it, which I wanted. Yeah, kind of works in that sense. But yeah, if I wanted it so this stuff uses the same position as Y, would I have to switch to using a 3D shader for actors? Okay, just stop talking about the corners for a minute. If I wanted to have them work the same way my actors now work, where they are sorted by Y, if I want the world to do that, can I do that? If I just make the actors also use a 3D shader and enable the depth buffer and set the Z to the Y or something? I don't know if that's exactly how that would work, but it's all screen space stuff anyway. We could say it's distance on the screen from top to bottom. Horizontal sprites of different Z values, yeah. If we need to use 0 to 1 or whatever, we can just say that like 0 is the top of the screen and 1 is the bottom of the screen or something. Because then I think that would look even better if you're standing against one of this from below. if your character appeared on top of it. But then, like, I don't know, if it's a canopy, that doesn't really make sense. It would be nice to have the option, I guess. They're just undefined green blobs right now. What I don't want is to have weird banding. Like, I don't want stuff that are within the same tile to be like Z fighting or whatever. GLM author. Okay. But is my suggestion sensible? Like, I write like a custom 2D shader that has depth buffering enabled. Or I guess another 3D shader that has depth buffering enabled. I draw all my actors to that 3D thing with depth buffering. And I somehow calculate the height of the screen or the position on screen as Z. So things towards the bottom have a lower Z, I guess? A higher Z, I guess. 0, no wait, 1. I don't know. Stuff at the bottom on top, so surely higher, right? You can't do it per pixel, but you could do it per vertex or per draw call. I think that's okay. Hello, Zainal. Zanel. I think per draw call is okay. I'd simply pass in the green space Y position. I'll still play Team Fortress, sometimes. Whenever I'm really in the mood, I guess. 1 AM on a Friday is not the time for it though. As the Z, yeah. Alright, hang on, let me write this stuff down. I think I'm getting sleepy. So let's see. Depth. World. So, I need to write a 3D shader to use for actors. Enable depth buffering on it and the world shader. Set Z to be the transform / tile position on the screen. Further down is higher Z. Hello, Poppy. Does my config work? Probably. Has Valve updated the game in 15 years? I'm kind of tired. Oh, I also need to edit the level generator to put floor at 0 and walls at 1 or whatever. Further down should be lower Z because minus Z is forwards. Okay, so it's fine. -1 is on top. Fine. Hello, Woolen. Please see me. Hello, Poppy. I see you. You caught me at a snoozy time. Hello, Bill. Has YouTube now decided the time I want to end the stream is when it's going to show everyone in the recommended? Did you guys all just get this stream in your recommended feed or something? 'Cause I don't know. 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 I don't I see, like, YouTube seems to do it in bursts. Like, at some point it'll just say, this stream is now in a bunch of people's feeds. How do you not get lost? Because I'm not reading it all at once. And I have the ability to compartmentalize. So, or work out where I would want to look, if that makes sense. I'm not reading every single character here all at once. I know this is the loop to do something, there's some other loop, this is whatever. Thank you, Poppy. They fixed the worst times to recommend streams, oh yeah. You don't know for the others, but you remembered what a goat you were. Hell yeah, buddy. If you use GLM ortho with a larger depth range, you might just be able to say Z is position.y plus bias. Oh, and then I wouldn't need to use my sorting. Is that what you're suggesting? That's really smart. GLM ortho with a large... Hang on. Does that work though? The ortho would have to be huge because the Y position is a float. Yeah, you thought that was the point. No, I just accepted I'd have to do the manual sorting. Hang on a moment then. What is GLM ortho taking? Can I just check it here? Maybe not here. Creates a matrix for orthographic parallel viewing volume. You take a float? You take a T. Probably takes a float, right? It's graphics card related. Everything's floats. So maybe it's fine. Camera.set ortho. Oh. I could change it, maybe. Or is this a LibDonut G4 thing? B3. Camera 2D, whatever. Set ortho doesn't seem to be a thing. Oh, create orthographic. This thing. Yeah. Offset and size. That defaults to 1 of size. Size is actually set to screen size currently. So we are using a larger one. You want to learn programming? Just pick some easy projects that you can get done in a weekend. The language honestly does not matter. Just if you have any friends that program, use the same language as them at the start so you can ask them questions. C++ is fine. Python is fine. C# is fine. Just pick something. It's alright. Syntax is syntax. You can learn different languages a lot faster once you've learned your first. It doesn't have Z near Z far. You might be able to specify in Mat3 manually. Alright. Would it make you feel old if I said I used to watch you when you were little? Not at all. So I get people joining the streams who are like 12, and I think, damn, I made like a TF2 video like 15 years ago. You wouldn't have been born yet. It's a crazy thought. Map pool. Oh, you mean as the viewport maybe, or where am I looking? This thing. I'm so tired. I'm sorry. I'm falling asleep. The camera constructor has an overload that just takes projection matrix and view matrix. You could just use that. Projection. No, I think that's sweet, really. I hope you've been doing well. You want to build logic? Yeah, just use whatever language you like the look of. C++ is a bit old. It's very available. There's a lot of knowledge on how to use it. If you want to make money with coding, I would find a job as a software developer. That's what I do. Oh, this thing. Okay, hang on. Let me note some of this down. I can't do this work right now. I'm falling asleep. So let me think. Use GLM ortho as projection matrix and map for 1F as view matrix with camera constructor this. We can use 3D shader for both, use the depth buffering, and we won't have to sort our actors by depth anymore. We should be able to draw the actor on top of the map. Yeah, I need to go to bed. You're in a school. Isn't it pointless to learn all this if AI does it faster and better? It would be if it did it faster and better. It doesn't, though. And it also wouldn't be pointless. If you want to be worse than the tool, yeah. But then what's the point? I think it's especially pointless to think it's pointless. There's nothing useless about self-development. You should look after yourself first. It's good to be smart. Don't let people tell you otherwise. Your brain is valuable. Anyway, the way that the engineering career seems to be going now is you still need to know what you're doing. You can't, if you're working at a half decent company, they won't just let you vibe code because you'll produce negative profit. It's going to be very expensive, at least starting next month, to use these LLMs, and companies will want to see their money's worth from it. And if you're actively bloating the code base with trash, they're not going to be interested. So you need to actually be able to understand what it's outputting. More like smart to beginners, but it's not. It's really not that smart. I asked one at work to migrate some files. I had like a PR comment saying like you should split this into 2 files into these 2 directories. I was like, fine, that's something that the AI should be able to automate. So I said, can you do this? And it just copied the files into the new directories. It didn't delete the old ones. It didn't do a move at all. So when I pushed it, we had duplicate files in the PR. It was really weird. And this thing's going to cost like thousands and thousands a month. So, yeah, I don't know. It's not there yet. You don't see yourself. You will make it on time. I don't know what you mean, but I'm gonna go to bed. Thanks for popping in. Sorry that you've joined right at the end of the stream. It's been 3.5 hours. I'd recommend, if you're interested in the streaming VODs, there's loads. You can just watch through them, binge them, skip through them, whatever. Or watch some older videos or VODs or whatever. I think I found out I've streamed like 8,000 hours or 10,000 hours or something. There's plenty of content. They're kind of like art. It's different. I do think coding is art, but if you're in a business, you care more about profits. So it's all nuance. ZZZ time, yeah. I think it's art. I think programming's art. I think being able to create and design and imagine and put together all this crap is arty. Maybe not your code. Alright, Donut. Sure. I think it's cool. I made this thing you're looking at with like the rocket launcher and the flamethrower and like this shit, and like the mouse gets set on fire and all the particles load in this JSON file, and like I wrote all this shit, and you write instructions to spawn a flamethrower, a particle emitter, and I think this is awesome. Like and being able to think, oh yeah, you go through the asset manager and you load all this stuff in, and you go into your entity factory and you spawn it, and you're doing this stuff through like you're adding a bunch of components, and this stuff's cool. If you asked someone else to copy my project based on the video, I don't think they'd be able to recreate how it looked under the hood. from first principles. I think there's a bit of my essence in here. Looks smooth, thank you. It's my awesome game where you shoot mice. Well, I'll draw real sprites at some point. These are placeholders. It's cool though, isn't it? Yeah, with this we added depth today, so you can draw things on top of other things. And this is how I found out that the sprite for being on fire is being drawn at the wrong position. But we can fix that quite easily. Have a look at this. I go to my particle and I find the inflamed actor. You can see here, we're spawning a flyer splash small, but we're not giving it a square spawn position. So if we just go ahead and, well, pop this in here, and then go back to our game, and I hit reload assets, next time I get set on fire, it should spawn in the right spot. Oh, look at that. Isn't that cool? Hot reloading. Hot reload. I'm on fire. I was able to see that, fix it, and I thought that's really cool. I don't know. Maybe some of these should be drawn behind you and some on top. I don't know. It's cool, isn't it? I probably don't need to do the tinting anymore now either. It's pretty sick. It's hot reloadable. It's really cool, right? The extinguished actor thing is not quite perfect either, so I could easily fix that. Hang on, you can't see the whole game, can you? Let's bring it back. There's a mini map and stuff as well. See? Anyway, so what was it? Steam extinguished. Extinguished steam. Mean direction is 1. Speed is 6. What if I set you to 12 or something? Let's see. Oh, come on. Okay, I can't. Hang on. It's not quite it yet. Hang on, let's see. Square spawn position count. I can also turn off randomize angle. That's not the problem, I think. I think I want to adjust the mass. Explosion shrapnel. Let's give it more force, maybe. So the inflamed actor, sorry, the extinguished steam. I give it a bunch of force, and then reload. Set me on fire, please. Let's see. That didn't work. I don't know. Mass. Somehow, well, maybe not somehow, but when you increase the mass, it also increases the, like, the pushback. And I think it's because the way I've done it. You get this initial big push based on mass, so the higher mass means you get more of a pushback. These are not going quite where I want. Maybe I get rid of square spawn position. Maybe steam small is overriding something, but isn't this cool? Like, I'm able to do this sort of iterative work with the particles. Go to my JSON file, go back to the game, reload it, and have a look. Oh, that looks better. No, it doesn't. I didn't... Did that really reload? Hang on a moment. Maybe the mass isn't doing quite what I wanted. Come on. This is hopefully under the assumption that this stuff's all working. It should all be working. Did you do this art yourself? I did, yeah. Okay, something's busted here. I'll need to investigate this some other time. I'm thinking... maybe randomized speed isn't helping. Yeah, whatever, I don't care. Cool though, right? Like, I can just do this sort of thing. Do you want to see a big sniper rifle, by the way? I spawn a super level. This is too much of a level. Hang on a moment, I fucked things. Debug mode hates this many things on screen. Here we go. Get a big sniper rifle. Bam. Bam. Cool, isn't it? Make sure the muzzle flash is always on top. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. Neat, isn't it? I hope so, at least. Dude, the shotgun, like, cocking, I can't think of a better word, when you look down is kind of sick. Look at this. Yeah, it's nice seeing the shotgun on top. You can finally see the beautiful animation I made. Alright, well anyway, that's enough showing off for now. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll probably be back tomorrow. And we'll maybe try and get that depth stuff done, maybe, and see how things are looking. Kind of fun just running around. You know you've made something good when you're able to just run around like a blank room, basically, and just shoot stuff. I do go about optimizing code. I don't. I use some good practices. I try to use some good practices, but I don't optimize unless I know in advance it's going to be really expensive to do it otherwise. But you shouldn't prematurely optimize. That's basically the #1 rule. You can spend hours and hours and hours making something run a little faster just to find out that in release mode it was already running at 20 million times a second and you've saved no time in reality. When you're doing indie development, you have to treat your time as being very valuable. So you don't want to spend too long thinking about this sort of thing. I would save optimization until much later. If we start testing this game on other people's machines and it turns out on ARM it struggles with some particles, then maybe I'll look at it. But if it's running at 400 FPS on everyone's computer full whack, then there's no point in spending time on optimization. Some things we did optimize though. You see the level generation? Check this out. I can max this out. It generates this like instantly, basically. This whole level takes like 0 time. This was not the case originally. When I first wrote the level generation code, this was taking a very, very, very long time. But now you can just generate it like really quick, because I did sit down in this case and optimize it. We found out that as much as I love standard unordered map, it was actually quite expensive, unfortunately. And just iterating over arrays is always really fast. Oh well. How do some big titles and companies have terribly optimized games? Is it laziness or difficulty? Mixture. If you're working on a AAA 3D title, it's a lot harder to perform optimizations than my little 2D indie game. I wrote the code, so I know roughly where things are and how things work and where things could be improved. I have like a good overview of basically the whole project. Whereas if you are an indie, or if you're a AAA game developer, you're on a team of hundreds of people. The like lead architect might have an okay idea of how most things are working, but no one's going to have such a precise look. Everyone will have a precise look at their own part of the game. Some developers will be on the team doing movement, someone will be doing art pass, some people will be doing balance, whatever. And usually stuff like optimization is left until the very end, like my project. At that point, they've got a deadline. They've got a release schedule. They've got marketing telling them they have to get it out next month. And they basically have to do as much as they can in as little time as possible. And a lot of modern engines use pretty shit methods for band-aiding over bad performance. You have like frame generation. You have relying on DLSS to run your game at a lower resolution. Having millions... Money doesn't solve all problems. It doesn't hurt, but there is a case to be made that leaner, it can be better. Just having more developers on the team can be more cooks in the kitchen, adding more and more to manage. It's just going to be a case if you're working on some enormous title, you'd need to have the budget and the time set aside for optimizations, and if you've bought the game, you've already paid for it, they've made their money back. The live experience is not the key there, unfortunately. Not always been the case. They might, now that computing is starting to become more and more expensive, they might start to focus on it more as an advertising point. Like when I hear about how Doom runs really well on cheap machines, I would be more likely to buy it for my Steam Deck than the latest Battlefield or whatever. Although I think Battlefield actually is quite well optimized, but you know the idea, right? Doom is marketed partially as running really well on like a toothbrush, and that would make me buy it. So it's possible future titles will rely on that, and that might be good. They can't keep assuming that everyone's going to buy the latest NVIDIA GPU, even if NVIDIA is sponsoring the development of their game one way or another. We'll see. If the game runs like shit, it feels underbaked. The other thing is, like, the average person doesn't care. The average person will watch a whole film on their smartphone. They will play a game at 10 FPS on their phone or on their PC or their like work laptop. They don't care. Caring about performance, unfortunately, is more of an enthusiast thing. Apparently. That's what I think, at least. Might be wrong. They could dedicate engineering hours and decide on processes to keep the game optimized if they want to, but they'd rather focus on monetization and graphics for trailers. Well, yeah, if the game sells, that's the important part. The gameplay is secondary, which is why we like indie games, right? Indie games usually focus on gameplay over everything else. It's fascinating your friend can't tell the difference between 165 and 60 hertz. If they used it for an extended period of time and then tried to go back, they'd feel it, probably. Yeah, I don't know. What game are you working on? There's a description you can have a look at, but like a little shooter. We were working on depth today, so you can see how I'm walking over these casings on the floor, but the rocket explosion is on top of me, and if I walk around this mouse, I can be in front of him or behind him. And his gun is also drawn in front of or behind. Indie games are more fun because they're usually built from some passionate perspective. And usually gameplay is the major focus. Most indie games that you like, I should say, are probably not made because the indie game developer wanted to make lots of money and they were trying to make a marketable product. They were probably just trying to make something they found fun. Not always the case, obviously. There's definitely a bunch of like the friend slop games that were just made to farm cash, but that's fine as well. AAA games feel like slop. It's a mix. Remember that AAA titles have a lot of talented, passionate people working on them too. They just have less of an impact, and the person with the wallet is the one kind of deciding where to take things. And it's safer for AAA to go with safe titles, which is why you see sequels and reboots a lot more. And even if a new IP does well, it still might be cut because it doesn't quite make profit expectations. Like, didn't they do a Dead Space remake that sold millions of copies, but they wanted like 50 million copies, so they went do Dead Space 2. Destructible environment, thank you. It's cool, isn't it? Yeah, look at how the tiles auto-tile. I did all this. It's cool, isn't it? By the way, the like stupid little shell that gets shot out from the rocket, I like it. I think I'm keeping it in. Even if it makes no sense for a rocket to have a cartridge, I think it's cool. Yeah, look, now that the map's on top of stuff, like not seeing the particles go over the map does just make it look better. I'm a gacha game player. Yeah, I'm gonna play Blue Archive later. And there's a big Genshin update coming out. I like a variety of things. I like indie games and I don't know, do I play AAA titles? Sometimes. I played a bit of Cyberpunk, I guess. Skyrim? It's AAA, is it? I think so. Yeah. Anyway, I'm really tired. I was going to finish the stream about half an hour ago, but I was having fun chatting, so there's that. Anyway, Chrono Gear. Yeah, one of these games is like a free visual novel on my phone, and the other one I need to buy. I liked Chrono Gear. What am I going to do? Just like randomly buy it and play it for fun? Is that what you do? That's what you do with games? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go to bed now. I hope you guys like the stream. What makes a AAA game a AAA game? I think it's budget. I don't know. You'll have to Google it. Call of Duty is a AAA. It's not about quality. And you get AA as well. And you get indie studios that are actually very well funded and quite big, which is questionable if they're indie or not. They're still technically publishing it themselves, but it's disingenuous to say that I don't know. What was a popular indie game? I can't think. I'm too tired. It's disingenuous to say like Deep Rock Galactic is in this. It's pretty low budget anyway. But now they're pretty high budget. They've got a lot of people on the team. Like that's not the same as like some itch.io developer making this stuff in their free time, you know? Like some indie game with like millions in budget. But I can't think of an example. Hello, Danny. I'm going to bed. Great timing. I'll be back tomorrow, probably. Good night for now. I am doing well. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye. Good night. See ya. Bye-bye.